Welcome back, everyone. This is part 2 of our epic saga, where destiny forges a path no mortal could ever dream of. In the last chapter, we witnessed the arrival of a warrior from another universe, the proud Saiyan prince, Vegeta. Lost in a realm beyond his understanding, he came face to face with an ancient sage, a being whose silence holds the weight of eternity. But today, everything changes. For in this chapter, we step into the mind of the sage. We uncover what he saw when he touched Vegeta's thoughts, and what he truly thinks of this relentless warrior who carries the hunger of 1,000 suns. And then it happens. Two forces collide, one born of infinite patience, the other forged in endless struggle. What happens when wisdom meets fury? When eternity faces ambition? This is the story of their clash. This is the moment when Vegeta meets his new master. In the beginning, before time had a name, the universe was a newborn flame, delicate yet infinite. Stars flickered like timid sparks in the void, and galaxies drifted as whispers across an ocean of darkness. Life was a secret still locked in the mind of eternity. And far beyond these infant constellations, upon a world cloaked in frost and silence, there rose an empire, not of men, but of stone and ice. A mountain range so vast, so eternal, its peaks pierced the heavens like the fingers of creation itself. Their crowns shimmered with snow older than history, and their shadows stretched across the very fabric of existence. These were no ordinary mountains. They were the Himalayas, the throne of the gods. Here, among these sacred heights, a brotherhood was born. Not of warriors nor kings, but seekers, souls unchained by the illusions of life. Men and women who dared to question the impossible, who defied the comfort of ignorance to touch the heartbeat of truth. They sought not kingdoms of power, but the kingdom within. They longed to pierce the veil of reality, to reach beyond the trembling edge of existence itself. So they came to these frozen summits, where silence speaks and eternity listens. For it was said that on these icy peaks, hidden in the breath of the storm, dwelled something greater, something older than time. They sought to unravel the very fabric of existence, the birth of worlds, the dance of stars, the destiny of the soul. And so, upon this frozen throne of nature, they built a sanctuary, a place where mortality bends and infinity begins. A home for the fearless, a cradle for the awakened. But why this mountain? Why this merciless wilderness of ice and wind? Because the legends spoke of a presence, a being beyond comprehension, older than creation itself. Before the stars first burned, before time learned to walk, he was there, silent, infinite, watching the birth of existence from the shadows of eternity. This was no god born of faith, no ruler forged in myth. He was never born, never created. He simply is. Self-existent, absolute, the stillness before sound, the light before the dawn, a consciousness that holds all things, every dream, every breath, every heartbeat of the cosmos, within a single thought. They say he knows all. From the trembling of a single raindrop upon a leaf, to the furious roar of galaxies colliding in the endless void, his mind has no edge, no horizon. He is the conscience of reality itself, the pulse that makes existence possible. To behold him was to drown in infinity. To hear his voice was to touch the fabric of eternity. And they gave him a name, whispered in reverence, carved into the marrow of the mountains, Mahadeva, the great God, the eternal mind of the cosmos. And so they stayed, because to live on these mountains was to breathe in the shadow of Mahadev. As centuries passed, the seekers shed the chains of mortality and rose beyond the grasp of time. They pierced the veil of illusion, unraveling the secrets of creation itself. They mastered the cycles of life and death, shaping their bodies like clay and commanding the astral realms with the power of thought. They walked through worlds unseen, spoke to the stars as one speaks to a friend, and bent reality with a mere whisper of will. What began as a humble ashram perched upon frozen peaks grew into a citadel of wonder, a luminous city of harmony and wisdom, hidden from mortal eyes, shrouded in mystery, where eternity flowed like air and the impossible became law. Its name, whispered only in the winds, was Shambhala, a kingdom of immortals, hidden beyond the reach of time, veiled in the icy embrace of the eternal Himalayas. Its golden spires pierced the heavens, crowned with banners that whispered to the winds of infinity. A sanctuary where wisdom flows like rivers of light, and silence holds the deepest secrets of creation. A beacon of truth, blazing brighter than the stars, untouched by war, untouched by decay. Rivers of crystal water weave through emerald gardens that bloom against the snow, nourished by the warmth of divine energy that radiates from the heart of this sacred city. The air hums with the resonance of ancient chants, a melody echoing across millennia. Here there is no hunger, no suffering, only the stillness of minds that have conquered themselves and the brilliance of souls who have transcended the mortal veil. This is no dream. Here the laws of mortality are broken, and eternity breathes in every stone, every stream, every whisper of wind. This is Shambhala, the citadel of immortals, the beacon of truth, the eternal sanctuary where gods and sages dwell in unbroken harmony. One morning, as the first light of dawn kissed the frozen crowns of the Himalayas, the world stood breathless in Brahma Muhurta, the sacred hour when creation awakens. In the heart of Shambhala, a sage opened his eyes. His gaze was calm, yet deeper than the oceans of time. Drawn by an inner call, he left the sanctity of the Golden City and wandered into the wilderness, seeking a silence beyond all sound, a stillness untouched even by thought. Snow whispered under his feet, and the mountains watched in solemn grace as he ventured higher, where the wind carried secrets older than man. Then he found it. A cave carved in the bones of the earth, dark as the void, silent as the grave. There, within its shadowed womb, he kindled a sacred fire, its golden glow painting the stone walls with flickering ghosts of light. Settling into the lotus posture, he closed his eyes, and the world dissolved. Time stilled, breath vanished. The mind soared beyond the edge of infinity, into realms where even the stars dare not wander. Until a sound shattered the eternal hush, a voice deep and uncertain, yet heavy with an unfamiliar power. Where am I? What is this place? The sage opened his eyes, And there he stood, an intruder from beyond the worlds. He appeared like a storm given flesh, his presence a tempest that bent the air around him. His clothes were alien, woven from the fabric of a distant reality, his aura wild, untamed, radiating raw force like a furnace of fury. His eyes burned, not with fear, but with pride, with defiance and a rage that could split mountains. This was no ordinary man. This was a soul forged in battle, tempered in blood and fire, a prince of warriors, standing at the edge of a world he did not understand. The sage, unmoved, he raised 2 fingers, and in a breath, their minds became one. What the sage beheld shattered the boundaries of reason. Within the depths of this stranger's mind, he saw 12 vast universes, each a kingdom of stars, each ruled by titans who dared to call themselves gods. Beings of unfathomable might, whose footsteps could unmake worlds. And then, war. A grand tournament where 80 warriors clashed in a storm of power, their every strike rewriting the laws of existence. A battle not for glory, but for survival, the fate of entire realities hanging by a thread. And among them, this man, a warrior cloaked in pride, his spirit a furnace of unyielding will, a prince carved from the stone of battle, hardened by endless war, arrogant, unbreakable. His name? Vegeta. The vision faded like smoke on the wind, but the question lingered, burning like an ember in the sage's mind. What manner of being is this? A creature who defies death itself, yet has never tasted peace. Slowly, the sage opened his eyes. His voice, calm as the void between stars, drifted into the charged silence of the cave. "Wait outside," he said, each word like the toll of an eternal bell. "Your answers will come." But patience was never carved into the soul of a Saiyan. Vegeta's fists clenched. His breath steamed in the cold air, not from fear, but from a storm rising within. His pride roared louder than reason, louder than time itself. He was the prince of all Saiyans, and no one, no god, no sage, no being in any realm, would speak to him as if he were a child. And in that silence, something snapped. His eyes blazed, his aura flickered, a storm waiting to break. And then, the storm broke. Vegeta roared, a cry so primal, so fierce, it seemed to tear through the fabric of heaven itself. The mountains quaked, the very air howled in terror. In a blinding flash, golden flames erupted around him, swirling like a living inferno. His hair blazed like molten fire, his aura crackled with raw power, limitless, untamed, Super Saiyan, a legend made flesh. He lunged forward, a streak of gold against the white fury of the storm, his fist burning with the wrath of 1,000 suns. And then, nothing. With a mere flick of his finger, the sage shattered the attack as though swatting away dust. The echo of its destruction died in the silence that followed. Vegeta froze, then snarled, his pride igniting like oil on flame. "Then take this!" The ground trembled. Snow avalanches thundered from the cliffs as his aura ignited again, deeper, darker, fiercer. Gold turned to sapphire fire, blazing so bright it painted the mountains in hues of blue. Lightning danced at his feet, the air itself bending under the weight of his power. Perfected Super Saiyan Blue. The power of gods, unleashed through the will of a mortal prince. For the first time, the sage faltered, not in fear, but in awe. For in this warrior he felt the whisper of divinity, yet tangled with impurity, stained with ego, poisoned by rage. The smile vanished from the sage's lips. Now he too became the storm. The clash that followed was a hymn of destruction. The sky tore, the earth screamed, lightning danced like serpents of fire, yet through it all the sage stood like the eternal mountains, unbroken until silence. Vegeta fell, his body drained, his soul ablaze with fury and longing, and the sage gazed upon him, whispering to the winds. How did he touch the divine without conquering his own mind? The answer would not come today, but the seed was sown. Two paths had crossed, one of eternal stillness, the other of eternal struggle. The sage saw hunger in the warrior's eyes, hunger not just for strength, but for destiny itself. And in that frozen cave, beneath the gaze of Mahadeva, a storm began to brew. For this was not the end. This was the beginning. The universe would never be the same again. Thank you for watching, everyone. This was part 2 of our epic 3-part series, but the journey doesn't end here. In the final chapter, these two worlds will collide, and I will bring both legendary figures together in one breathtaking frame. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come.